out of the team for termination while
FA Cup champions.
Looking at a mud bath in Nittavala and a really close game from Pallakale as well. Two absolute nail-biters from Kandy and a couple of games here in Colombo as well. You're on the breakdown and we are watching the Singer Schools League with you 2018. 4 games on the weekend as we began round 2 in earnest with the teams crossing over, Division 1A and Division 2A playing each other, and we got some really competitive games as a result of that as well. We had St. Joseph's taking on Wesley in a game that we expected St. Joseph's to win easily, but that was not the case at all because Wesley came through and were leading with about 15 minutes to go in that game. We had a lead of about 2 points for Wesley when Murshid Zubair put over a penalty, and it was 16 points to 14, but Gamanu Chetia's hat-trick eventually sealed the win. It was just the experience for Wesley that was missing. They played pretty well. Their backs got into some good motion. They have some good attacking moves, but at the same time they lacked a little bit of panache and how to control that game towards the end of it. Just to kick for territory, Murshid Zubair, who had played so well, put one kick into the hands of Gamanu Chetia, and that was just enough for the guy to just cut open the defense. And you can see the X factor of players like that really coming to the fore when they play teams with a little bit less experienced than them. So 26 points to 16 was how that one finished. Joes once again showing that they have enough mental strength, even if they are trailing towards the last bit of the games, that they can come through and actually win. We saw them do that against Kingswood. We saw them do that against Royal as well, staying in the game for as long as they could on the scoreboard. But this time they managed to come through from behind and win convincingly against a Wesley team that will prove a few problems for some of the other teams as well. Then we have Isipathana taking on Kingswood. Isipathana took on Kingswood in Nittavala, and that was a muddy game. The ball handling was really woeful for everyone, and unfortunately such a stop-start game resulted in just 2 tries being scored. 1 try being scored by Kingswood and 1 try being scored by Isipathana, and the difference between the two sides was the kicking of Manil Karuberi. He put over a conversion as well as a tight angle penalty, so that was the way in which Isipathana managed to win that game 10 points to 5. A close one as we predicted last week, and perhaps a game that Kingswood will go back and kick themselves for not winning because they had the lion's share of possession, the lion's share of territory as well, and I think Isipathana got the rub of the green, so to speak, and they managed to actually win that game and come off with a very, very close win against a good Kingswood side, which will count themselves very, very unlucky to have lost that game 10 points to 5. St. Peter's took on Trinity in a game that a lot of us expected St. Peter's to put away easily, and it looked like they were doing exactly that at half-time, 14 points to 0 at the half, but then suddenly Trinity came back into the game. St. Peter's may have taken their foot off the gas just a little bit, but Sanath Martis will not be happy as the coach when he looks back at those videos and sees the defense of his team. They drifted way too wide or stayed a little bit too close, not marking their men, not looking up, and that's something that they will have to fix when they come into the other games against the bigger opponents like St. Joseph's and Royal when they have to play them later on in the competition. So they'll need to bolster up that defense. They can score tries. We've seen that because they scored 4 tries, got the bonus point for 28 points. Shehan Lianapathirana once again been outstanding at fullback, and with his kicks as well as his running game, he forms an overlap beautifully and injects a lot of pace into the Peters attacks, but they will be very concerned with the 3 tries they let in. Trinity looking very much out of the game until maybe about the last 20 minutes of that match, where they had a little bit of belief and threw caution to the winds. Ranaraja once again sparking things a little bit for them, so they've got a bit of an X factor. They don't use him enough, I don't think, but he created a bit of havoc in the defense as well and managed to get them up within 1 score, and in the end it looked like a nail-biting match, but St. Peter's will probably have figured that they had that one wrapped up well before the final whistle. 28 points to 21 was how that one finished, and Royal once again continued their dominance against Zahira. 41 points to 5 was how that finished, with Royal resting quite a few of their key colorsmen as well, and despite that they managed to put 31 points on in the first half, and it was a very different performance from Royal. 31 points in the first half and only 10 in the second half. We've seen that reversed over the course of this season, with Royal not scoring many in the first half and then really cutting loose, but this time it was a different one as well. But Zahira again can be proud of that performance. It was gutsy, and they did manage to cross the Royal line as well, which is something that coach Shamli Nawaz will take as a positive positive out of that game. So those were our games over this weekend. Looking at the fixtures coming up this weekend, we have Trinity taking on Isipatana in a match that's bound to produce quite a few tries. Both defences have not been up to the mark this season, and I think we will see a few tries scored, especially with Manuka Ruberu being in the kind of form that he is. He might be able to put his outside backs away with this Trinity defence. Look for the kick and chase. A lot of people may exploit that against this Trinity College team. There's a little bit of space behind the first line of defence and behind the back three as well, and I think Isipatana will be smart enough to exploit that. Looking at the way that they have performed this season, we have Isipatana who have won 5 of their 6 matches and Trinity who have won just 2 of their 6 matches. So Trinity will desperately need this win. Isipatana coming up against Kandy opposition last week and managing to win in a very close game, so they know that they have the mental fortitude to do it. Can Trinity overcome them? That's going to be the one that we'll have to wait and see over this weekend. Looking at the results over the last few years, we had Trinity who won last year quite convincingly, although it was just a 1 score in it. It was 15 points to 10, and before that it has all been Isipatana winning quite handsomely against Trinity College opposition. So that's going to be an important one that Trinity are going to want to try and make it 2 years in a row against the Green Machine. So let's wait and see whether that's going to happen. It's going to be a tough ask for Trinity, but if Isipatana can get their forwards in being disciplined and make sure that they can get the ball into the hands of Ruberu as often as possible, then I think they will definitely be the favourites for this game. Our next match is also Kandy Colombo opposition. We have St. Peter's taking on Kingswood down in Colombo, and that's going to be a very important game for St. Peter's just to see how they measure themselves up against the Division 1A teams that they have come into contact with. They were tested last week a little bit against Trinity, but this will probably prove a sterner test. A Kingswood team that likes to kick, a Kingswood team that likes to chase. So Leona Pathirana's defensive abilities will be tested. He has come up trumps with the ball in hand and the ball at his boot, but will he be able to put that positional play in as well and show that his all-round game is complete? That's something that will be tested for St. Peter's. Kingswood have been a team that will be bruised from their defeat against Isipatana, a match that they will feel that they did not need to lose, and they'll be coming back and wanting to try and win against St. Peter's. It could be a banana skin game potentially for the Pete Wright team, but watch for this big set of forwards to try and dominate proceedings and dominate the line out and try to wear down the Kingswood team, frustrate them into making mistakes, and let's see whether Leona Pathirana will be able to put the game to bed with his boots. So that's the way the matches are shaping up. We've had St. Peter's winning comfortably in the recent past against this opposition. We've had pretty much no real contest from Kingswood except in 2015 when Reza Rafaidi's team went down fighting by 1 point to 13 points to 12. But it looks very much like St. Peter's will be the favourites going into this game as the only other unbeaten team aside from Royal in this competition. So let's wait and see how it goes. Kingswood may provide just a giant killing upset here. Let's look at the points table for the Cup Championship, and don't forget you can look at all these stats on stats.thepapare.com. You can find out a breakdown of all the points and points for, points against, and everything that we can possibly give you at the Stats Centre. At the moment, Royal College and St. Peter's at the top. They've got equal points, 6 games played, and both teams on 35 points each. They've missed a bonus point in just one of those games that they've played, and setting themselves up for a nice title deciding clash later on in the season so far. St. Joseph's also with just a 1 loss, and Isipatana with that narrow win over Kingswood maintaining that record as well. So 3rd and 4th places as well are showing that they are neck and neck at the moment. But still, Isipatana with the lack of bonus points are a couple of points behind there on 29 points, and St. Joseph's in third in the position of 3rd by themselves on 31 points. We have Kingswood who came up just short last week. They're on 18 points, and Wesley College with a big performance against St. Joseph's. Despite the fact that they lost that game, will have a very confidence-boosting loss about them with that result against St. Joseph's. So they're on 17 points, just a 1 point behind Kingswood. So going to set that match up nicely as well. Trinity College on 15 and Zahira College on 11 with the points that they've brought with them from the first round. So that's the way it racks up at the moment. Royal College and St. Peter's at the top, and Wesley, Trinity and Kingswood in the bottom half of the table, looking like they're really going to make a run for it towards the end of the season. Our top try scorer, Gamanu Chetia, has scored 3 hat-tricks, mind you, and he's got 1 try in addition to those 3 hat-tricks as well. So he's the first to reach double figures this season. 10 tries he scored, the Josephian. And we have Vishwa Ranaraj, also the speedster from Trinity. Despite the fact that he scored a few tries, Trinity have not really scored many tries apart from his contributions. He's got 5 tries, and Kavin the Keshan, who hasn't got on the scoreboard in the last game, still has 5 tries for St. Joseph's, and Janidu Dilshan also, who didn't play a big part in the game against Zahira last week. He would have added to that tally, no doubt, but he still has the 5 tries, and his last game was the Bradby that he played a couple of weeks ago. In the point scoring category, Shehan Leonapatirana out in front. There's no real competition for him at the moment. He's followed by Gamanu Chetia, who scored those 10 tries. He's got 50 points with those tries alone. Dulan Gunawardana is in 3rd, and Manilka Ruberu, the Sipatana captain, in 4th place at the moment in the point scoring category. Don't forget to join us on ThePapare.com for all these games and much more live action from the 2018 Singer Schools League. Will Royal and St. Peter's remain unbeaten? Will they set up a grand finale? Join us and we'll find out in a couple of weeks.
Isn't it time to grow up? Now you can with home loans, education loans and vehicle loans from DFCC Bank. DFCC Bank. Keep growing.